Podcasting is probably the most fun way to generate leads, traffic, clients. It's available wherever, right? Especially audio. People have the most time in their day to listen to podcasts, not sit down and visit a webinar, go through a workshop, read something. It is incredibly geo-targeted. Think about who your ideal audience is and who you want to speak to. There's a podcast for that. And there's an audience already built in. So the matchmaking of it is incredibly ideal. And if you compare it to all the other things that we can be doing for marketing, which is so much fun, but there's a variety of the audience. Whereas if I'm a guest on your show, we know they're at least somewhat interested in the topic, what it is that I serve. Also, I think because it's evergreen. You can listen to me this week, next month. It's always going to be valuable. It's always going to be relevant, which is a big switch from when I was doing daily talk show, a daily live show. Yeah, I think it's really an untapped resource. What do you think?
Welcome to the Thought Leader Revolution with Nikki Ballou. Join the revolution. There's never been a better time in history to speak your truth, find your freedom, and make your fortune. Each week, we interview the world's top thought leaders and learn the secrets of how they built a 6 to 7 figure practice. This episode has been brought to you by eCircleacademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. I'm your host, Nikki Ballou. And boy, do we have an exciting guest lined up for you today. Today's guest is someone who, like me, believes in the power and the urgency of podcast guesting. I am speaking, of course, of none other than the one, the only, the legendary Angel Tuccy. Welcome to the show, Angel.
Oh my gosh, Nikki, what a great introduction. Thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So, Angel, the folks that listen to this show, they are society's great heroes. They are entrepreneurs. They're the men and women with a vision, a dream to make their dream come alive, to make the world a better place. And they listen to the show not because of me, because I'm here every week. They listen to the show because of you. They want to get to know you. They want to learn from you. But before they can open themselves up to you, they need to know who you are. So tell us your backstory. How'd you get to be the great Angel Tuccy?
Oh, well, goodness gracious. How did I, right? Grew up as a Navy brat. My dad, we traveled a lot as a kid. We moved a lot as a kid. I was super shy, super introverted, and somehow landed myself as a broadcaster. I was a radio talk show host because I had started podcasting. I started a podcast that got picked up and discovered by my local radio station, and I became a radio talk show host. Ended up with a 10-year career, hosted over 2,500 broadcasts, interviewed over 5,000 people. By the time I left media broadcasting, I was hosting 4 hours of talk radio every day, hosting two-hour back-to-back shows.
Wow.
And when I left, I ended up becoming a public speaker, traveling around the country, teaching entrepreneurs how to do their own PR, how to get booked on radio, how to get booked on magazines, on televisions, mostly helping authors sell their books, speakers get more stages, coaches sell more programs. And during the pandemic shift, we made a switch and started focusing solely on podcasts. So it's almost like I kind of came this full circle. I started as a podcast host, went into broadcasting, went into speaking, and now we're back into podcasting and helping podcasters find guests and helping guests find podcasts.
So why do you think podcasting is something that works today for people to not just generate visibility, likes and followers, but to generate leads, sales and clients?
Well, I will tell you that from my history and what we have discovered is podcasting is probably the most fun way to generate leads, traffic, clients. One, it's available wherever, right? Especially audio. People have the most time in their day to listen to podcasts, not sit down and visit a webinar, go through a workshop, read something. Right? They have the most time in their day to actually listen to a podcast. So it is incredibly geo-targeted. Think about who your ideal audience is and who you want to speak to. There's a podcast for that. and there's an audience already built in. So the matchmaking of it is incredibly ideal. And if you compare it to all the other things that we can be doing for marketing, which is so much fun, but if I go and speak at a summit or an event, there's a variety of the audience, of a mix who's in the audience. Whereas if I'm a guest on your show, we know they're at least somewhat interested in the topic, in the theme of who it is that I'm speaking to, of what it is that I serve. So it's, number one, most available. They can listen anywhere. Number two, it's really easy to geo target who you want to talk to. And also, I think because it's evergreen, right? You listen to a show, you can listen to me this week, next month. It's always going to be valuable. It's always going to be relevant. And which is a big switch from when I was doing daily talk show, a daily live show. If you caught it that day, you only caught it that day. So it sticks around. I think it's a really an untapped resource. What do you think?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think there's a number of things about podcast guesting that a lot of people don't understand. Most people who go on podcasts think to themselves, okay, great, I'm gonna get some visibility for my brand. And that's a good thing. Brand visibility is a good thing. But in my experience, hardly anyone goes on a show with the intention to generate leads, sales, and clients. So when I understood the difference between having a weak intention and impotent intention, like, hey, I'd just like to be on a show, it'd be great, have a great conversation, and maybe somebody will call me someday, versus I'm going on the show and I'm going to get some leads, I'm going to get some sales, I'm going to get some clients. That was night and day. And when we started to have our own experience going on shows, and I've been on 600 shows in the past 2 years, right, as a guest.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And as a result of that, I started to see that the people that listen to podcasts, they're seekers. The host is a seeker. This isn't the average person. This is somebody who's looking for solutions. And I saw there was some studies that said that 35% of the people who listen to a show buy the products and services mentioned on that show. 1 out of every 3. So if there's 100 people listening to the show and you mention a book, 33 of them are going to buy that book. That's crazy to me, because that doesn't happen in any other medium that I'm aware of, right? And so people need to really wake up and go, oh my God, these people, they're looking for what I'm offering. They're looking for what I'm offering. That should make an aha go off in your head like a light bulb. And you should go, okay, I need to be on podcasts. This is where people are spending money today. In the old days, people would go and say, you know what, let me get a webinar, let me run some ads to it, and people will watch the webinar, and then maybe they'll get on my calendar. And that worked until about 3-4 years ago. Then Facebook changed the algorithm, and it doesn't work so well anymore, right? It's a lot more expensive than it used to be. Have you heard this?
I have, yeah. Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on that?
They're easier to get on. There's new shows happening all the time. I think one of the things that makes us really unique when we started our Need a Guest Facebook group is the quality of shows that we attract, and the fact that we build relationships with the hosts before we even tap into their network. And so it makes for a really valuable conversation. You know your audience, you know what they're looking for. You bring on really great guests that are going to add value to your audience. I think you're right in that the 33%, they're buyers, but they're also not looking for an infomercial. Right? No. They aren't listening to podcasts to learn about products and services, but you're right. They discover you've written the book on it. They discover you found some really clever, unique method that is working. You discovered a hack, a life hack, a tool, of course, because they trust you. And because they trust the host, because they've listened to you every single week, that trust transfers automatically over to the guest. Just because you've invited them in, it's an implied endorsement. And so if you like them, if you're fascinated by the book and the story that they're sharing, of course your audience is going to take action. But it's really important that the guest doesn't come in and just think, I'm going to just do a big infomercial,
that's not going to work
on what I'm selling.
That's not going to work. If someone comes on my show and that's what they do, I don't publish the episode. I just don't publish the episode.
Sure.
It's only happened twice, and I've interviewed close to 800 people now. But I'll tell you something. It's very important that you don't come in there doing a giant infomercial. No, 100% that's true. But if you come in, you add a lot of value, people are going to very naturally be inquisitive as to who you are and what you have to offer.
Right, for sure. And that's what we find. We've gathered a network, a community. We've got a Need a Guest Facebook group where probably 80% of the people inside the group want to be a guest. They want to be a guest on other people's shows, but we have 20% that are looking for guests for shows, and it's that engagement and that excitement, knowing that you're coming into a group where you can actually be a guest on somebody's show and connect directly with that host for free, really easily every week. But it does come down to the host being really keen on who they're inviting in to be a guest on their show.
Well, on my show, I typically invite leading thought leaders in the world to come and be on the show. Some of the guests we've had on the show are some of the most iconic figures in the space. So Dr. Ken Blanchard, he was a guest on the show, 1 Minute Manager. John Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I've had Kevin Sorbo, Hercules, TV's Hercules. Nice. He was on the show. All kinds of folks like that. But recently we started a kind of a new segment.
And then everyday folks just like me.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, look, you are a thought leader. You're not like maybe world famous yet, but I think you could be. But what you've created is incredible. Like the Need a Guest Facebook group, 35,000 members. That's incredible. That is a massive accomplishment. And understanding how to tap into the power of podcast guesting, absolutely massive, supercalifragilisticfantastic from my point of view. I think that's really, really powerful and important. But this new segment we started, we're calling it Emerging Thought Leaders. These are for people who maybe they've been in business for at least 3, 4, 5 years. They've got at least a 6-figure business. So they're not brand newbies. I don't want brand newbies in the space. But I will interview someone like that who's like a powerful coach, powerful consultant, powerful author, and they're on their way up, just to give them a bit of a leg up exposure to the space. And it's good for me and my business too. I'm building contacts with the kinds of people I want to end up doing business with. So from that point of view, as a host, that's really, really powerful. But as a guest, I think if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a service-driven business owner, if you're frankly the founder of a company and you're thinking to yourself, what works today for me to generate leads, sales, and clients? And if you're not looking at podcast guesting as a major part of your strategy, that's a huge mistake. That's my belief. And your thoughts?
I would agree with you, Nikki, for sure. It is untapped. I mean, you can do it from anywhere. You get to speak on the thing you're most passionate about, the thing you are excited about. You've got a great call to action, right, on how people can connect and follow up with you. And you can do it from anywhere. We teach our clients to do 2 interviews a week. 2 interviews a week puts you in front of 50 audiences over 6 months. What else can you do? Where else can you, without having to travel, get on an airplane, pay for stages, pay for advertising? Where else can you have that kind of reach and impact doing the thing that you love? And the audience, they can connect most deeply with you because you're telling your story. They can hear your voice. They hear what you're most passionate about. It's a dialogue and interaction with the host. It really is an untapped market. And it works, I think, especially well for coaches, for authors, for speakers, but even for CEOs. I mean, think about, you want to make an impact. You want to tell your story. You want to have an even bigger reach than what you have right now. Podcast guesting it's definitely, I agree with you. What an incredible way to reach the masses.
There's got to be, from my point of view, a focus on generating leads and sales and clients. Because if the intention is just to be a guest, I don't think that's a strong intention. I don't think that's an intention that's going to really move the needle for your business. But if your intention is, I'm going to go on this show, I'm going to do an amazing job, I'm going to inspire the audience, because the audiences these days need someone to inspire them. They need a powerful voice to make them feel better. The last 4 or 5 years have been rough on people, still are, quite frankly. You got to do a great job for the host, so the host goes, wow, it's the greatest guest I ever had. Glad I had her on. That's amazing. Glad I had him on. Awesome. And then finally, and I think this is very important, this is a point most people miss. Most hosts are themselves business people. And it's important to build a relationship with the host. Where else can you, over a 6-month period, as you said, with just 2 interviews a week, meet 50 new business owners? 50 new business owners. So I got to tell you, Nikki Bilu's secret sauce has been, especially when couldn't travel too many places, because I was one of the proud unjabbed who refused to get that. And so in Canada, at least, they wouldn't let us travel for a while. I got to travel through the magic of the internet, and I got to meet a lot of amazing business people that way. And who do people do business with? People they know, people they like, and people they trust. And once that's done, and your podcast guest appearance, it's got to be, I think, very well structured and organized. Like if you listen to my episodes when I'm a guest on someone's shows, I start pretty much the same way every time. I have a list of about a dozen stories that I tell. I don't tell all the stories on every appearance, so I mix and match the stories up. I tell those stories to a very powerful and deliberate effect. And I have a very strong call to action. And as a result of that, all of my intentions happen every single time. And I've been teaching clients on how to go on shows. And we call our methodology Get Booked and Get Paid. And we have a book by that name that's going to be out by the end of the month. Very excited about it. And it's all around helping people have an intention to use podcast guesting to generate business for themselves. Because if your focus is just on, I just want to go on shows, I don't think that's powerful. I don't think that's going to work well for you. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you. I think that 2 things. One, having a great call to action. I always say exposure without a call to action is wasted exposure. But 2 is building that relationship. Like you said, if all you met and all you interacted with and engaged with was the host, that's gold right there, because you're talking to the same audience in most cases. You're both serving, you can collaborate, JV partners, ambassadors, like all of good things. If the only people you met was each other, the guest and the host, even if it was just those, that would be critical. That would be incredibly valuable. But the key is it's going to have reach, right? You're going to share the show. We're going to share the show. Everybody's going to go out and create additional exposure and bring a new audience to the group. So it's a win-win no matter what. But having a good call to action, leveraging I call it other people's audiences to build your own audience, having a great way that people can opt in, that can follow you, that you can nurture that relationship and connect with you next is critical. And what I often find, Nikki, is I would ask people, where do you send them to? What's your call to action? And they would tell me it depends. And I would always say that depends are for leaky businesses, right? You're leaking leads. If you don't have one clear call to action, opt in, wait for the audience to follow up and connect with you, and send them to your castle. Don't tell them go follow me on Instagram. Don't tell them buy my book on Amazon. Always lead them into your castle, right, so that you can continue to nurture that audience and nurture that lead later, because your buyers come from your list. They come from your leads. They come from your followers. So if you're just going out and being a guest and you don't have a great way for the audience to connect and to follow up and to stay in touch with you later, you've now just missed that incredible opportunity. When I was speaking, I left broadcasting. I started traveling as a speaker, and I would have people come up to my workshop or my booth and say, yeah, I've been on radio. I've been on television. That thing didn't work for me. And I'm sure you've heard this too, Nikki. I've been on podcasts. That thing didn't work for me, right? I was on Facebook. That thing didn't work for me. I joined that networking group. That thing didn't work for me. Like, that thing is working for a lot of people. If it's not working for you, you haven't tapped into the strategy for the how-to. And for us, for the biggest thing that we have our clients do is have a really clean opt-in, right? Where do people go next? what's in it for them, right? And you can give a fun little freebie, little, lead magnet, opt-in, like there's all sorts of names and language for it, but I like to call it a gift. Right? Like if I could give you something that is a great gift, a great value, you're going to get an incredible result and you're going to love it. And it is a do not miss. And I've added value and somehow we had a connection. It should be a really easy thing for them to say yes to and opt into. And from that, even if only you connected with the host, but just between sharing it with the audience, if there's 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, that's more than you would be in front of on a regular basis. If you had to fill a room, if you had to go to a networking group, if you were at an expo, if you had to pay for ads, this is the easiest resource to tap into. And I think it's the most fun.
Amen. Well said. I really like what you said about have a strong call to action and lead them to your castle. I've never heard it put that way before. I think that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, Angel, Tuccy, how do people come to your castle?
Into my castle. Well, I should tell you that I moved from Denver to Florida 3 years ago. All three of my adult children work at Disney World. So the castle is definitely like my thing.
Love it.
And so, yeah, your sales castle, we invite everybody. If you want to start getting booked on podcasts every single week, you want to connect directly with podcast hosts who are looking for guests. Our Facebook group is an incredible place to start. And you can go to needaguest.com. needaguest.com. That's going to give you access to my training on how to use the Facebook group, how to scroll through it, how to post, how to connect directly with hosts to get booked every week, and then a link to join that Facebook group, needaguest.com. You can also go directly to that Facebook group and there's an opt-in there. And yes, we're going to email you. Yes, we're going to add value. Yes, we're going to show you how to get booked every week using our Facebook group. But you can go and start getting booked immediately. Talk to your target audience, talk to your favorite people, talk about the thing you love to talk about the most, and get booked every week using our community for free.
Amen. God bless your heart. So, Angel, we'd like to end off each episode by asking you, our guest expert, for your top 3 expert action steps. These are your best pieces of life and business advice in bullet point form for my listener to take her life, his life, to the next level. What say you? Go.
All right. So my favorite things are, number 1, focus on what you do best. Like, what is your favorite thing to talk about? Stay in your lane, right? Super number 1, stay in your topic lane. Number 2, have a great call to action. And number 3, create more volume by getting booked on 2 podcasts every week.
CTA. All right.
Yeah, focus on one topic, have a great call to action, and get booked on 2 podcasts every week.
I like it. These are excellent expert action steps. Angel, Tuccy, we're going to be friends. You're my sister from another mister. God bless your heart. So, listener, Angel Tuccy, she's not fussy. She'll take care of you. Go to her group. Go to her Facebook group. I'm in that Facebook group. I think it's a great group. Take full advantage of it. Her expert action steps rock. And if you want to learn more about how to be a guest on a show, definitely come check out what she has to say. And if you want to learn how to turn them into leads, sales, and clients, jump on my calendar. Go to go to eCircleacademy.com/appointment. Or if you want to just go check out the next workshop we have, eCircleacademy.com/get booked. It's got all the details there, including how to sign up, when the next workshop is, and you get myself and the legendary Mark Von Muser showing you how you can take your podcast guesting efforts into the zone of generating at least an additional 6 figures in the next 12 months. 6 figures to $250,000 a year is possible through podcast guesting, part-time, 5 to 7 hours a week. I say this, Angel says this. You got to listen, guys. This is it. If you go podcast guesting, you are digging in a field full of gold because no one else is digging in that field anymore. Now, if you go use all those old, outdated methods, you're digging in a field that used to be full of gold, But lots of people have been digging in there, and there's no gold there anymore. There's very little gold. You might get a little nugget here and there. So it's like Blue Ocean Strategy, that amazing book. You want to be in a blue ocean. You don't want to be in a red ocean. You want to be in a field full of gold. You don't want to be in a field where all the gold's been dug up. Mm-hmm. Angel Tuccy, what a pleasure having you on the show. You are straight up awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
And that wraps up another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. To find out more about today's guest, the one and only Angel Tuccy, go to the show notes at thethoughtleaderrevolution.com or wherever you happen to listen to this episode, be it iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Audible, Rumble, YouTube, or what have you. Until next time, bye-bye.
This episode has been brought to you by eCircleAcademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.